Elementor Pro is changing the game when it comes to creating websites, and today I'm going to show you how to create a gorgeous full screen menu with Elementor Popups, whatever WordPress theme you are using. So, how do we do that?
Let's find out.
Hello, I'm your host Casino. I'm a digital alchemist, and today we're going to take a look at how you can create a full screen navigation with the help of Elementor Popups that comes with Elementor Pro. And as mentioned, this works on all themes as long as you have Elementor Pro. And as always, if you want to purchase Elementor Pro, you will find the affiliate link in the description of this video. To be crystal clear, this is an affiliate link, which means that I do get a commission if you purchase a license after clicking on my link. But one, I only recommend Elementor because I love the product, and two, commissions actually help me support this channel and create free content. So, are you ready?
Let's dive in.
Okay, so this is what we're going to build in this tutorial. We're on the home page, and if we click on the navicon, here comes the beautiful Elementor pop-up, which we turn into a full screen navigation. So we can either click on the close icon, or we can just hit escape on the keyboard. So how do we achieve that? So the first thing to do is to create a home page. I assume you know how to do that. So I've already created a couple of pages and a home page, and this is what I came up with. Now, if you're not good with design, or you just don't want to spend too much time designing that page and you just want to test what I'm teaching you in this tutorial, you can just use a free plugin called Elementor Template Kits, and they have they have a ton of very great looking layouts, and you can just install it in one click. So for example, if I pick this one, I can just enter home, and then if I click on create page, it's going to create a home page with that layout, and then you can edit it in Elementor. Now, as mentioned, I've already done that, and this is my home page. So the next thing we want to do is to actually create the pop-up. So for that, let's go back to the WordPress dashboard, and let's go to templates, pop-ups. And now we're going to create a new pop-up. So I'm gonna call it full screen pop-up navigation, and click on create template. Okay, so now I can just use one of the templates, but today we're going to create one from scratch. So let me close that. You can also select one from the Elementor, from the Envato Elements template kit that I was just talking about earlier. But as I said, we're going to create one from scratch. So I'm just going to click on the plus icon, and then I'm going to choose a one column layout. So we want to edit two things here. We want to edit the pop-up, and we want to edit the section. So right now we're editing the section. So I'm just going to make it full width, and the height is going to be minimum height 100 VH. Okay. And now I want to edit the pop-up, and for that I'm going to click on the gear icon on the lower bottom left corner. Okay, so now I need to change the layout. So the width is going to be 100 VW, view it, and the height is going to be custom 100 VH. Okay, so that's good. Now let's move back to editing our section. You can actually add a background here in the pop-up, but what I don't like with that is that when you do that, you can't really add a color overlay. So you can add an overlay for the whole page if you're using a small pop-up, but if you use a full screen pop-up, you can't really use an overlay. So let me open the navigator, and I'm just going to select my section. So now I can edit the section settings. So next I go to style, background type, and here I'm going to choose an image. So I like that one. Insert media, and I'm going to set to no repeats and the size to cover. Okay, that's good, but it's going to be hard to read some text on that image. So I'm going to add a background overlay. Classic. Then I'm going to pick a color. And then I can change the opacity of the background overlay. And I want this to be readable because the navigation is really essential to browsing a website. So I want to make sure that it's readable. So that looks good for me. Okay, now we want to select a navigation menu widget from Elementor Pro, and we're just going to drop it in the middle of our page. So the first thing you want to do is to select the drop-down layout and keep the submenu indicator as classic, but you may change it to your liking. Next, you need to change the alignment to center. Otherwise, you'll be able to center it on the desktop, but you won't be able to center it on the mobile. Next, the toggle button, just keep it to none because you actually don't want to have a navigation inside a navigation. So what this does is that you remove the toggle button, which is called the navicon or hamburger icon, for all devices, desktop, tablet, and mobile. Okay, next, let's move to the styling options. So the first thing we want to do is to remove the background, and we want to change the text color to white. We also want to change the hover color to a light gray. Let me copy that one. And now we also want to copy that same color to the active mode for when a navigation element is active, when you're actually on that page. Okay, so next let's change the size of the typography. So that looks about right. And we also want to change the background color for the hover and for the active states. So now if we hover over the navigation, it looks just the way we want it. But of course, you're free to change the colors or to add a background, but that's the way I prefer to have it. Okay, next we want to change the close icon. And for that, we need to go back to the pop-up settings. And if you recall, we can access the pop-up settings in the lower left bottom corner. So let's click on settings, and now let's click on style. Then let's open the close button settings. So first let's make it a little bit bigger, and then we can change the color. If you wish, you can also add a background color, but I'm just going to leave it like that. So that looks good. Now the next thing we want to do is go back to the section styling. Actually, we want to add a couple more widgets here. So I'm going to look for social media icons. They're right here. And actually I could have used the search right here. If I type social, it's right here. Okay, and I want to style those. So let me click on the edit icon, and then I'm going to change that to Instagram. Okay, I want the shape to be square. And now I'm going to style it. So I'm going to choose a custom color, and I'm going to pick black. Okay, now I can play with the size of the icons, and I can add a little more spacing. You can also play with the padding depending on what you want to achieve, and that looks good to me. Now let's add a spacer, give it more room, but of course you could achieve that also with padding or margin, but right here I'm showing you another way to do it. Just add a spacer. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to publish. So first I need to select the conditions. So I'm going to add just the basic include to entire site, because I want this to be displayed on all pages when I trigger it. And that's why I'm not going to add any triggers here, because I will add the trigger in the header actually. Click next, and I'm not going to add advanced rules. So save and close. So that was the first step. Next, we're going to create a header with Elementor Pro, and then we will actually link from the header to the pop-up. So in the WordPress dashboard, go to Templates, Theme Builder, then click on Header, and add a new header. And I'm going to call it Fullscreen Header. Click on Create Template. Okay, and now we can either start from scratch or we can use one of the Elementor Pro templates. So let's use one of these. So I'm just going to use that one. So click on Insert. Just going to download a few elements and that's it. Okay, so first of all, I prefer to have my content width full width. And I'm just going to align the logo on the left hand side and give it a 125 pixels width. Next, I'm going to remove the actual navigation. And this is a bit, it's not tall enough. So I'm just going to select the section options and I'm going to give it a minimum height of 100 pixels. And that looks already way better. Now, as you can see, you can't really see the navigation here, but that's the logo I'm using because I'm going to use this on a transparent header. Okay, so let's go back to the section styling. See, the background color is white. I'm going to make it transparent. It looks like nothing happened, but that's normal because the background of the page is white. But you see how it goes when we look at the demo. Now, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to remove that button and I'm just going to add an icon. So let's go to the widgets and I'm going to drag and drop an icon here. First thing I want to do is align it to the right hand side. And then I'm going to change the icon to bars. Okay. The next thing I want to do is click on the dynamic option for the link. I'm going to scroll down to pop-up, then click on the wrench icon, and I'm going to look for the pop-up that we just created in the previous step, which was called full screen pop-up navigation. Okay, so now it's linked. Next, I want to style the nav icon, so I'm just going to play with the size. Okay, and I'm going to change the primary color to a light gray. Once again, you can't really see it, but you will see it nicely when it's on a transparent header. And the last touch I want to add is that, in my opinion, this is way too close to the edges. So I'm going to select my section, go to advanced, and I'm going to give it some left and right padding. So 30 pixels on the left and 30 pixels on the right. And now there's more room and the header is breathing. Okay, so the next step is to publish, add a condition, and I don't want to add this on the entire site, although I could, but I'm just going to add it on the home page. So let's choose singular, all pages, and my home page is called Elementor Nav. So that's what I'm choosing, then save and close. And now we can have a look. So this is our homepage, and as you can see, we have the logo, then we have the navicon, but we have this ugly box shadow. In my opinion, that's just my personal preference. So let's go back to our header. I'm going to select the section, then go to styling, border, and you can just reset the box shadow back to default. And once you're happy with it, just click on updates. Okay, now it's updated, so let me refresh the page. Okay, and now it looks pretty nice to me. So let's test our full screen navigation. And as you can see, it works perfectly. Now we can add some more finishing touches because when we click on the navicon, it works, but like there's no transition. So let's go back to editing our pop-up. And the first thing you want to do is to click on the bottom left corner on the gear icon to change the pop-up settings. And here you see the entrance animation. We're going to add a fade in. See that's looking much better. So let's click on updates. Now let's refresh our page. And now if I click, see there's a nice fade in transition. So that's looking great. But we can go a little bit further. So now I'm going to edit the navigation widget itself, then go to the advanced tab, and we can also add some entrance animation. So let's try fading up. Okay. And let's give it a delay of 200. Okay. And then we can also do the same for the social icon. So click on the edit icon, then go to the advanced tab, and in the entrance animation, let's do another fading up, but this time let's give it a 400 milliseconds delay. Okay, just click on update, and now just update the page. And if we click on the navicon, you see we have the smooth transition for the pop-up. Then we have a fade-in animation with the navigation, and then 200 milliseconds later we have the social icon. So let's try that again. Very nice. And as explained, you can either close by clicking on the close icon, or you can just hit the escape key on your keyboard. So that's looking great. But now let's look at how it looks like on mobile. So let's go back to our pop-up. And actually before the mobile, let's look at what the tablet looks like. So on the tablet, it looks pretty good, pretty decent. So let's try that. iPad. Let me refresh the page. And that works for me. And now let's look at on iPhone. So the first thing we notice is that the navicon is not really where we expect it to be. So we're going to change that, but let's click on the navicon and it just works great. Of course, you can tweak the styling for the mobile. You can make the font smaller or bigger, just like you would with any Elementor widget or section. So that's working great. Now let's fix the header. So back in Elementor, just select the mobile view. And as you can see, there's 3 columns in the desktop view. But when we go to the mobile view, the first column is set to 50%, the second column also to 50%, and that's why the third column with the navicon is displayed here. So what we're going to do is select the second column and give it a 20 pixels width in mobile mode, and the third column we're going to give it a 30% width. So now if we update and if we refresh the page, it should all be working good. So as you can see, it's now looking good. Of course, I will make the logo bigger. We can do that right now. So actually, let me change that. Let me give it a 20%. And I'm going to give 60% to the first column. And now I can make the logo bigger. I have more room for that. So let's change it to 136. Now let's go back. Let me refresh the homepage. And now we have a decent sized logo and a fully working full screen navigation. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and that you're going to create amazing full screen navigations Whichever theme, WordPress theme you're using, you can do pretty much anything you want with Elementor Pro and the game changer called Elementor Popups. So I hope that this video showed you how to create a beautiful full screen navigation with the help of Elementor Popups. Now, if there are any other Elementor Popups tutorials that you'd like me to cover, just let me know in the comments of this episode. And by the way, you will find the companion blog post on my website, casino.com. And of course, the direct link is in the description of this episode. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like it as it really helps growing this channel. And if you know someone that could benefit from it, please share it now. If you're not a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Now, if you want to brand, market, and grow your business in the digital age, then make sure you subscribe to my email newsletter so that you never miss a share of digital alchemy, as well as tips, tools, services, and case studies that can help you grow your business online. So that's it for this episode. I hope to see you around the channel, and in the meantime, don't forget to invest
In your success.